It began with a decision so unexpected that even veteran palace aides struggled to believe it. Behind closed doors at Kensington Palace, Princess Catherine reportedly made a move that sent shockwaves through royal circles, a move that could prevent Queen Camilla from attending the most important royal ceremony of the year. At first, whispers were dismissed as gossip. Then the silence from the palace became impossible to ignore. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. For days, speculation swirled through royal corridors as reports emerged of an urgent private meeting involving Princess Catherine, Prince William, and several senior royal advisors. Officially, nothing unusual had happened. No statement was released. No explanation was offered. Yet according to palace insiders, the atmosphere surrounding the gathering was unlike anything they had witnessed in recent months. Those familiar with royal operations claimed the discussion was not about routine scheduling, charitable engagements, or ceremonial planning. Instead, attention allegedly focused on attendance protocols for a major upcoming royal ceremony, an event considered one of the most significant moments on the royal calendar. What immediately raised eyebrows was the extraordinary level of secrecy surrounding the meeting. Palace officials who would normally dismiss rumors quickly remained unusually silent. Requests for clarification reportedly went unanswered. Correspondents who regularly cover royal affairs began noticing subtle changes in schedules that had previously appeared settled. Some engagements were quietly adjusted. Certain appearances became uncertain. Small details that might normally escape attention suddenly seemed connected to a larger story unfolding behind closed doors. As the mystery deepened, sources close to royal circles suggested that Catherine had voiced concerns regarding the importance of preserving both the significance and public perception of the ceremony. While no official details emerged, insiders claimed discussions centered on ensuring the event reflected stability, continuity, and unity during a period when the monarchy continues to navigate significant challenges. Such concerns would ordinarily attract little attention. However, the growing speculation that Queen Camilla's attendance had become part of those discussions transformed an internal matter into a potential royal controversy. The reported reaction inside Camilla's circle only intensified public curiosity. Several royal commentators suggested that members of her office were caught off guard by sudden developments. While no direct conflict was acknowledged publicly, whispers of confusion and frustration reportedly began circulating among those closely connected to the Queen. The lack of information created a vacuum, and that vacuum quickly filled with theories, interpretations, and mounting questions. Why had such an important discussion taken place so quietly? Why was there such determination to keep details from reaching the public? And most importantly, what had happened behind those palace doors that could trigger such widespread speculation? What made the situation even more intriguing was the growing belief among seasoned royal observers that tensions had not appeared overnight. Several insiders suggested that subtle signs had been visible for months. Small decisions, quiet adjustments, delicate shifts in influence that were largely unnoticed by the public, but impossible for experienced palace watchers to ignore. Looking back, some now claimed that the foundations of this controversy may have been forming long before the private meeting ever occurred. At the time, few paid attention. Now every detail seemed significant. With each passing day, curiosity intensified. Media outlets devoted increasing attention to the story. Royal experts analyzed every public appearance and every unexplained schedule change. Yet despite the growing scrutiny, the palace maintained its silence. That silence became its own statement, fueling even greater speculation about what was really happening behind the scenes. And as the mystery expanded, it became increasingly clear that the issue at hand extended far beyond one meeting, one decision, or even one individual. But the ceremony at the center of the controversy was far more than a royal appearance. It carried historic importance that could reshape relationships inside the monarchy itself. For generations, this ceremony has represented far more than tradition. It is one of the rare occasions where the monarchy presents a united image to the nation, and this year every detail suddenly became a battlefield. What made the growing controversy so remarkable was the fact that the ceremony itself had always stood above personal disagreements, family tensions, and palace rivalries. Year after year, it served as a powerful symbol of continuity, reminding the public that while individuals may come and go, the institution endures. That was precisely why the rumors surrounding this year's event carried such explosive implications. If changes were truly being discussed behind closed doors, they were not simply administrative decisions. They were decisions capable of sending a message about the future direction of the monarchy itself. For decades, attendance at such a significant royal occasion has never been viewed as a matter of convenience. Presence carries meaning. Absence carries even greater meaning. Every position, every invitation, every appearance is carefully interpreted by royal watchers, searching for clues about influence, authority, and standing within the family. That reality is what transformed the whispers surrounding Queen Camilla into something far more serious than ordinary speculation. The possibility that attendance arrangements could become a source of controversy suggested that deeper forces were moving beneath the surface. At the center of those forces stood Princess Catherine. Over recent years, her position within the royal institution has evolved dramatically. Once viewed primarily as the future queen consort, she is now increasingly seen by many observers as one of the monarchy's most trusted and influential figures. Her careful approach to duty, her ability to maintain public confidence, and her growing involvement in important discussions have strengthened her standing during a period. Stability has become one of the monarchy's most valuable assets. Reports from palace insiders suggested that her voice now carries considerable weight in conversations about the institution's future, particularly during moments of uncertainty. That influence appears closely tied to Prince William's growing reliance on her judgment. Those familiar with royal operations have long noted the strength of their partnership, but recent developments have reportedly elevated Catherine's role even further. As challenges facing the monarchy continue to evolve, William is said to value her perspective on matters involving public trust, tradition, and long-term strategy. To many observers, they no longer operate simply as husband and wife. They function as a united leadership team preparing for responsibilities that may arrive sooner than anyone once expected. Meanwhile, public expectations surrounding the ceremony continued to grow. Across the country, attention focused on what should have been a celebration of continuity and national identity. Yet beneath the anticipation lingered an unmistakable sense of uncertainty. Royal correspondents began reporting unusual developments behind the scenes. Scheduling questions remained unanswered. Details that would normally be finalized quietly appeared unusually fluid. Each unanswered question fueled another wave of speculation. Inside royal circles, the atmosphere reportedly became even more complicated. Courtiers were said to be divided over what the rumored changes might mean. Some believed adjustments reflected practical considerations tied to the institution's future. Others feared they signaled a significant shift in internal power dynamics. No one seemed willing to speak publicly, but the growing silence only intensified the mystery. The more officials declined to comment, the more people became convinced that something important was unfolding behind palace walls. What began as a whispered rumor was gradually transforming into a larger question about influence, authority, and who truly held the power to shape the monarchy's most important moments. And as preparations accelerated, attention quietly shifted from the ceremony itself to a deeper question. Who truly had the authority to decide who belonged there? The answer may have been hiding in plain sight. While the public still viewed Catherine as a future queen-in-waiting, insiders increasingly described her as something else entirely, a figure whose influence was already reshaping palace decisions. What made the growing speculation so compelling was that Catherine's rise had not happened through dramatic announcements or public declarations. It had happened quietly, steadily, and almost imperceptibly. Yet within royal circles, many believed the shift had become impossible to ignore. As the monarchy navigated one of the most uncertain periods in recent memory, Catherine's role reportedly expanded beyond ceremonial appearances and charitable responsibilities. She was increasingly viewed as someone whose judgment carried significant weight at the highest levels of palace decision-making. While the public still saw a future queen preparing for responsibilities that lay ahead, insiders allegedly saw a leader whose influence had already arrived. Much of that transformation appeared to accelerate following a series of recent royal developments that placed extraordinary pressure on the institution. Stability became a priority. Public confidence became a necessity. Every decision carried greater consequences than before. According to those familiar with palace operations, Catherine emerged as a figure capable of balancing tradition with modern expectations. Her ability to maintain public trust reportedly earned respect among senior advisors, who understood the importance of protecting the monarchy during a period of intense scrutiny. As her standing grew, so too did her involvement in strategic discussions. Reports suggested she was no longer merely informed about major plans after decisions had been made. Instead, She was increasingly present during conversations where those decisions were being shaped. Royal observers began hearing whispers that Catherine's perspective was sought on matters ranging from public engagements to long-term institutional planning. While official confirmation never came, the consistency of those reports fueled a growing belief that her role had quietly evolved into something far more influential than many outside palace walls realized. Senior staff reportedly noticed the change as well. Advisors who once directed their attention primarily toward established royal offices were increasingly said to be seeking Catherine's approval before moving forward with sensitive matters. Such developments rarely become public knowledge, but palace institutions often reveal their priorities through behavior rather than announcements. And according to those watching closely, behavior inside royal circles seemed to be changing. At the center of that transformation stood the partnership between William and Catherine. More and more, they appeared to be operating as a unified leadership team, rather than individuals fulfilling separate responsibilities. Their shared approach reportedly offered a sense of direction at a time when uncertainty continued to shadow the institution. Insiders described a relationship built on trust, consultation, and mutual confidence. That unity strengthened their influence and made their collective decisions increasingly difficult to challenge. Against this backdrop, reports began surfacing that preparations for the upcoming ceremony had reached the highest levels of review. Guest lists, seating arrangements, and attendance considerations were allegedly being examined with unusual care. Such scrutiny suggested that palace officials viewed the event as carrying extraordinary importance. Every invitation mattered. Every absence mattered even more. Growing concerns about public perception and long-term stability reportedly shaped discussions behind closed doors, creating an environment where difficult decisions became harder to avoid. It was within that atmosphere that speculation surrounding Queen Camilla intensified. Several insiders claimed she was increasingly finding herself outside certain conversations that would once have included her. Whether those reports were accurate remained impossible to verify, but their persistence added fuel to an already expanding controversy. The more questions emerged, the more attention focused on a single possibility: that changes were taking place within the royal hierarchy itself. Yet none of that explained why tensions appeared to be focused so intensely on one person, and why Camilla's name suddenly became the center of every whispered conversation. Then came the leak. A single report from well-connected royal insiders transformed weeks of speculation into a full-blown palace crisis almost overnight. Until that moment, the controversy surrounding the upcoming ceremony had existed largely in the shadows. There had been whispers, unanswered questions, and a growing sense that important conversations were taking place beyond public view. But once details began finding their way into media reports, everything changed. What had previously been treated as palace gossip suddenly became the dominant story consuming royal coverage. Journalists who had spent weeks cautiously discussing rumors now found themselves examining a rapidly developing controversy that seemed to grow larger with every passing hour. The first reports focused on concerns surrounding attendance arrangements. Although no official confirmation accompanied the claims, the suggestion that significant decisions were being made regarding who would and would not play a visible role at the ceremony immediately captured public attention. The story touched upon something deeper than scheduling. It touched upon status, influence, and the delicate balance of power inside one of the world's most scrutinized institutions. That was why the leak resonated so strongly. People sensed there was more beneath the surface. Royal watchers responded exactly as many palace officials had likely feared. Every public appearance became a source of analysis. Every interaction was examined for hidden meaning. Every gesture, every absence, and every unexpected adjustment fueled another wave of speculation. What might once have passed unnoticed now attracted intense scrutiny. Observers searched for clues that could explain what was happening behind palace walls. Instead of reducing uncertainty, the growing attention only amplified it. At the center of nearly every discussion stood Queen Camilla. Questions about her role at the ceremony began appearing across newspapers, television broadcasts, and online platforms. Was her position changing? Had her involvement been altered? Was there any truth to the reports suggesting attendance concerns had become a subject of debate? No one seemed capable of providing definitive answers. Yet the lack of clarity did not slow the story. If anything, it accelerated it. The palace's continued silence became one of the most significant factors driving the controversy forward. Ordinarily, a brief statement might have ended much of the speculation. Instead, officials remained noticeably quiet. Requests for comment reportedly received little response. Attempts to clarify key details produced no meaningful explanation. As silence stretched on, intrigue deepened. The absence of information encouraged the public to fill the gaps themselves, often with theories far more dramatic than reality might have justified. Behind the scenes, senior aides were reportedly facing increasing pressure. Correspondents sought answers. Commentators demanded clarification. Yet, according to several reports, those closest to the situation remained unwilling to discuss scheduling decisions publicly. Their reluctance only reinforced perceptions that something significant was unfolding. If there was nothing unusual happening, many wondered, why refuse to address the questions directly? Soon the controversy began dividing royal supporters themselves. Different factions emerged, each interpreting events through a different lens. Some believed the reported decisions reflected necessary changes intended to protect the monarchy's future. Others viewed the situation as evidence of deeper internal tensions that had been hidden from public view for years. What united both sides was the growing belief that the story extended beyond a single event. Something larger appeared to be at stake. As debate spread across the country, the palace found itself confronting a challenge that could no longer be contained through silence alone. The leak had opened a door that could not easily be closed. Every new report generated fresh questions. Every unanswered question created further suspicion. What began as a rumor had evolved into a national conversation about power, influence, and the future direction of the royal family. But as headlines multiplied, another revelation emerged. One suggesting this controversy had roots stretching much further back than anyone realized. To understand the present battle, some insiders believe you must first understand the complicated history that quietly shaped it. A history filled with loyalty, rivalry, and competing visions for the future of the crown. As the controversy surrounding the ceremony continued to dominate discussion, many royal observers began looking beyond the immediate headlines. The questions were no longer limited to attendance lists or scheduling decisions. Instead, attention turned toward the deeper relationships that had shaped the monarchy over many years. According to those who followed the institution closely, the tensions now surfacing in public may have roots buried within a much longer story, one defined by changing roles, shifting influence, and differing ideas about what the monarchy should represent in a rapidly changing world. Within royal circles, long-standing tensions are rarely expressed openly. Tradition encourages restraint. Duty often demands silence. Yet silence does not erase disagreement. Over time, differing perspectives can quietly coexist beneath the surface until circumstances force them into view. Some insiders believe that is exactly what happened here. What appears to be a sudden controversy may actually be the result of years of unresolved differences gradually reaching a breaking point. At the heart of those differences lies the contrast between Catherine and Camilla, two women whose public images have often been viewed through very different lenses. Catherine has steadily cultivated a reputation centered on stability, dedication, and a careful respect for royal traditions. Her approach has often emphasized continuity and long-term responsibility. Camilla's journey, meanwhile, has been shaped by a far more complicated public history. While she eventually secured an important position within the institution, her path was marked by years of scrutiny, controversy, and public debate. Those contrasting histories inevitably shaped how both women came to be viewed by royal supporters and critics alike. The differences extend beyond public perception. According to several royal commentators, Catherine and Camilla have often been associated with distinct approaches to royal duty. Catherine is frequently described as cautious, measured, and focused on preserving public trust. Camilla, by contrast, is often portrayed as pragmatic and adaptable, navigating challenges through experience and resilience. Neither approach is inherently right or wrong. Yet within an institution where symbolism carries immense weight, such differences can become increasingly significant. Over recent years, Catherine's popularity with the public has grown considerably. Polls, public appearances, and media coverage have repeatedly highlighted the strong connection many people feel toward her. That popularity has strengthened her influence during a period when the monarchy faces mounting pressure to maintain relevance and confidence. As public expectations continue evolving, figures capable of inspiring stability naturally become more important. That reality has reportedly altered internal dynamics in ways that are not always visible from the outside. The timing of these developments has only intensified their importance. The monarchy currently finds itself navigating a period of transition, unlike any it has experienced in decades. Every appearance is analyzed, every statement is examined, every decision is measured against broader questions about the institution's future. Under such circumstances, symbolism becomes extraordinarily powerful. What once might have been viewed as a routine ceremonial matter can now carry implications far beyond the event itself. That is why every reported decision connected to the upcoming ceremony has attracted such intense scrutiny. Attendance is no longer simply attendance. Presence becomes a signal. Absence becomes a statement. Even small adjustments can trigger speculation about authority, influence, and future leadership. For many observers, the controversy surrounding Camilla was never truly about a single event. It was about what that event might reveal regarding the balance of power within the royal family. As more details emerged, some insiders began suggesting that past disagreements may have quietly contributed to current developments. Whether those claims were accurate remained impossible to confirm. Yet their persistence added another layer to an already complex story. The deeper people looked, the more connections seemed to appear between old tensions and present controversies. And just when observers thought they understood the situation, a dramatic development reportedly changed everything once again. According to Palace Whispers, a final decision was eventually reached, and its impact was felt immediately throughout royal households on both sides of the divide. After weeks of speculation, unanswered questions, and mounting public curiosity, reports began circulating that senior officials had finally settled the issue that had consumed so much attention. No dramatic announcement accompanied the decision. No detailed explanation was offered. Yet, according to insiders, the outcome quickly became known among those closest to the institution. What had once been the subject of quiet discussions behind closed doors was now a reality with consequences that reached far beyond the upcoming ceremony itself. The reported decision immediately sent ripples through royal circles. Advisors, staff members, and longtime observers suddenly found themselves trying to understand what it all meant. Some viewed it as a necessary step designed to protect the integrity of an important national occasion. Others interpreted it as evidence of a deeper shift taking place within the monarchy's internal structure. Regardless of perspective, few seemed willing to dismiss its significance. The atmosphere surrounding the palace reportedly changed almost overnight. One of the most persistent questions involved how the decision had been communicated. According to various reports, details emerged gradually rather than through any formal public process. This only added to the intrigue. Some insiders claimed key figures learned about the outcome later than expected. Others suggested that efforts had been made to keep discussions as discreet as possible in order to avoid unnecessary controversy. Whatever the truth, uncertainty surrounding the communication process fueled another wave of speculation and intensified already heightened emotions. Among supporters of Queen Camilla, reports of disappointment and frustration allegedly began surfacing almost immediately. For those who viewed her attendance as both appropriate and expected, the reported outcome was difficult to understand. Some believed the decision reflected changing priorities within the institution. Others feared it signaled a reduction in influence at a moment when symbolism carried extraordinary importance. While few were willing to speak publicly, whispers of dissatisfaction reportedly spread throughout circles sympathetic to Camilla's position. At the same time, many observers concluded that Catherine's standing had emerged stronger than ever. Whether or not she played the role some reports suggested, the controversy appeared to reinforce perceptions of her growing influence. The fact that her name remained central to nearly every discussion only strengthened the belief that her role within the monarchy had evolved significantly. To supporters, she represented stability during a challenging period. To critics, her increasing influence raised difficult questions about shifting power dynamics. Either way, her importance seemed impossible to ignore. Throughout the controversy, Prince William maintained a notable silence. While public attention focused on competing narratives and endless speculation, he offered no visible response to the reports dominating headlines. That silence became a story in itself. Some interpreted it as discipline, others viewed it as strategic restraint. Whatever the reason, his refusal to engage publicly only increased curiosity about what was truly happening behind palace walls. Meanwhile, the palace appeared determined to focus on preserving stability. Officials reportedly understood that the institution faced enough challenges without allowing internal tensions to overshadow one of its most significant ceremonial events. Yet despite those efforts, media scrutiny continued intensifying. Newspapers, commentators, and royal experts dissected every development. Public interest reached extraordinary levels. The story that had once existed as little more than a rumor had become impossible to escape. As attention grew, many began realizing that the controversy was no longer simply about attendance arrangements or ceremonial protocol. Something much larger seemed to be emerging. Questions about influence, leadership, and the monarchy's future increasingly overshadowed the original issue. What mattered was no longer who attended the ceremony. What mattered was what the decision appeared to reveal. Yet the greatest consequences were never about a single ceremony. They were about what the decision revealed regarding the future balance of power. Sometimes a single royal decision tells a larger story, and many observers believe this controversy may have revealed exactly where the monarchy is heading next. By the time the debate surrounding the ceremony reached its peak, many royal commentators had stopped focusing solely on the immediate controversy. Instead, attention shifted toward what the entire situation seemed to represent. For weeks, public discussion had centered on attendance, influence, and protocol. Yet beneath those headlines, a larger narrative was beginning to emerge. According to many observers, the reported decision offered a glimpse into the future direction of the monarchy itself. What initially appeared to be a dispute over one event was increasingly being viewed as a reflection of deeper changes unfolding within the institution. At the center of that conversation stood Catherine. Over recent years, her role has evolved from respected senior royal to someone many now see as the future face of the monarchy. Her growing influence has not been built through dramatic gestures or public declarations. Instead, it has developed through consistency, discipline, and an ability to connect with public expectations during a period of considerable uncertainty. As the institution continues adapting to modern challenges, Catherine has increasingly come to symbolize stability and continuity. That perception has only strengthened throughout the controversy. The reported events surrounding the ceremony reinforced another important reality as well: the growing prominence of William and Catherine's leadership style. Together, they are frequently described as focused, measured, and attentive to the long-term health of the institution. Their approach appears centered on public trust, careful decision-making, and a recognition that every action now carries greater consequences than ever before. As public scrutiny intensifies, many observers believe their partnership is becoming one of the monarchy's most significant assets. At the same time, questions regarding Queen Camilla's long-term influence have become increasingly difficult to ignore. The controversy reignited discussions that had quietly existed for years regarding her position within the broader structure of the royal family. While she remains an important figure, the events surrounding the ceremony led some commentators to wonder whether the balance of influence may be gradually changing. Those questions remain largely unanswered, but their growing prominence reflects the uncertainty that often accompanies periods of transition. Public reaction to the reported decisions further highlighted the importance of the moment. Supporters and critics alike interpreted developments through their own perspectives. Some praised what they viewed as a commitment to preserving the monarchy's future. Others expressed concern about the implications of the controversy. Regardless of where opinions fell, one fact remained undeniable: people were paying attention. The level of engagement demonstrated how deeply invested many remain in the future of the royal institution. Senior royals, meanwhile, appear to be navigating a rapidly changing era. Expectations continue evolving, public attitudes shift, traditional structures face new pressures. Under such conditions, maintaining unity becomes both more difficult and more essential. Every decision is scrutinized not only for what it accomplishes today, but for what it signals about tomorrow. That reality has elevated the importance of trust to an extraordinary degree. For the monarchy, public confidence remains one of its most valuable resources. Without it, tradition loses much of its power. With it, even periods of uncertainty can be managed successfully. Many insiders believe that preserving that trust now influences nearly every major decision being made behind palace walls. The controversy surrounding the ceremony may therefore represent something much larger than a temporary disagreement. It may be part of a broader effort to prepare the institution for the future. As anticipation continued building, one conclusion became increasingly difficult to avoid. The monarchy appeared to be entering a new phase of transition, one defined by changing leadership dynamics, evolving public expectations, and growing interest in what comes next. Yet, even as observers debated the meaning of recent events, another surprise was quietly approaching. But before the year's most important ceremony finally arrived, one final chapter remained, and it would leave royal watchers stunned. When the ceremony finally began, millions focused on who was present, Yet according to royal insiders, the real story centered on who was missing and what that absence symbolized for the future of the crown. After months of whispers, speculation, and mounting tension, the moment had finally arrived. Public attention was fixed on the ceremony from the very beginning. Across the country, royal supporters, commentators, and casual observers alike watched closely, knowing that this was no longer simply another event on the royal calendar. Too many questions had accumulated. Too many rumors had circulated. Too many reports had suggested that something significant was unfolding behind palace walls. By the time the ceremony began, anticipation had reached extraordinary levels. As expected, every appearance was immediately analyzed. Every arrival generated discussion. Every detail became the subject of interpretation. Royal experts examined developments with unusual intensity, while media outlets searched for clues capable of explaining the controversy that had dominated headlines for weeks. Yet despite all the attention focused on those who participated, many observers found themselves discussing something entirely different. The conversation repeatedly returned to the same question: who was not there, and why? That question quickly became the defining theme of the event. According to various reports and ongoing speculation, Queen Camilla's reported absence remained at the center of public discussion. Whether viewed as a consequence of internal decisions, shifting priorities, or broader institutional changes, the symbolism attached to that absence proved impossible to ignore. For some observers, it represented a simple scheduling matter that had been exaggerated by relentless media attention. For others, it reflected something much larger, a sign that important changes were taking place within the monarchy itself. Meanwhile, Catherine emerged as one of the central figures of the occasion. Throughout the event, discussions surrounding her influence, her role, and her future position within the institution continued to grow. What had once been viewed as speculation now appeared, at least to many observers, as part of a broader transformation unfolding before the public's eyes. Her presence seemed to reinforce the perception that she had become one of the monarchy's most important figures during a period of extraordinary transition. Yet public interpretations remained sharply divided. Some believed the ceremony demonstrated the monarchy's ability to adapt while preserving stability. Others viewed recent events as evidence of deeper divisions hidden beneath the surface. The same developments produced dramatically different conclusions, depending on who was watching. Supporters of different royal figures interpreted the symbolism according to their own expectations, ensuring that debate continued long after the ceremony itself had concluded. Throughout it all, the palace maintained its familiar position. Officials avoided direct comment regarding many of the questions dominating public discussion. No dramatic clarification arrived. No detailed explanation emerged. Instead, silence once again became part of the story. That silence allowed competing interpretations to flourish, ensuring that the controversy remained alive even as the ceremony moved into history. In many ways, the event became less about tradition and more about symbolism. Attendance, absence, positioning, and perception all carried enormous significance. What might once have been considered minor details became powerful indicators of influence and authority. The monarchy has always communicated through symbolism, but rarely had those symbols appeared so heavily scrutinized. Every aspect of the occasion seemed connected to larger questions regarding leadership, succession, and the institution's future direction. As the dust slowly began to settle, one reality became increasingly difficult to dismiss. The monarchy appeared to be entering a new chapter, shaped by duty, public image, evolving influence, and the expectations of a changing era. The controversy that had surrounded the ceremony may eventually fade, but the questions it raised are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Because the debate was never truly about one event. It was about who will shape the future of the institution and how that future will be defined. Because if the whispers are true, this was never simply about one ceremony or one royal. It was the opening move in a much larger struggle for the future of the monarchy. And the consequences may only just be beginning. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.